Have you ever wondered what it would be like if you weren't here?
Yes, actually I have.
Yeah. Maybe a better way to say that is, have you ever wondered if the family would survive without you?
Yeah, and it's weird thinking that, yes.
Just saying.
Have you?
Yeah, yeah, I've had. In fact, do you remember, I think it was about 30, when I started having some heart palpitations, whatever they call that, whatever, flutters.
That's what it was.
There's a lot of different terms for it, but that was probably my strongest moment. So it was interesting because it was anxiety and stress related.
Right.
So.
But you didn't know that at the time.
I didn't know. But I remember that was such a strong feeling and a fear of mine. So obviously what I learned is anybody who is having a stress or anxiety moment or season, whatever it may be in their life, it's so important to realize other things that compound that and build on that, and that's what this was. So for whatever reason, I started having these heart palpitations, and literally, if you remember, you could see my chest bounce. They would be so hard
laying in bed
and abrupt.
And I could see,
yeah. And I was about 30, right?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, 30 years old, and obviously it affected my sleep. I couldn't sleep, and the prevailing thought that just kept circling at that point was, am I going to die?
Yeah.
Am I going to die? Like, I mean, if I go to sleep, am I going to die?
Yeah, exactly.
So, pretty scary time. And what was interesting about that is, so I was under a lot of pressure at work, you know, as many people experience on a regular basis. In addition to, I also had other things going on in life. You had just had
Sophie?
No, a miscarriage.
Oh, that, okay, before that, okay.
Yeah. You had just had a miscarriage, and that was pretty devastating to us.
Yeah.
And we thought that, 4 girls, and we thought that it was
girls.
gonna be, 3 girls at that time,
been,
But we have 4 girls, and we thought that was gonna be the boy.
Right.
That was the boy. And the doctor even said, if I had to guess, I would say this is probably a boy.
We thought.
That was a silly thing to say. That doctor should have never said that because it just wasn't, we didn't have the
there
evidence.
was
They didn't
no
have the pictures.
reason for
There was
that.
nothing that you could truly see.
Right.
I don't know. That was
Why
weird.
did we believe it? But ananyway.
Yeah. We believed it
hopeful.
enough. Didn't we even paint?
We painted the room blue.
We broke the cardinal rule. Don't paint before the baby's born. Yeah. So we were so excited though over
Unexpected.
Yeah,
It was not
over
expected.
the potential to have a son.
Yep.
And it was just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a boy.
Yep.
And there was a lot of excitement around that. So there was so much excitement around that. And that's relational because it created so much disappointment around that. When you miscarried, there were complications and didn't work out.
Yep.
So then when you take both of these, you push them together, it just compounded the stress. Yeah. It's just life stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, there are lots of people who, this happened to. Doesn't make it easier. Right. But it's just a thing. A lot of people, walk this walk.
Yep.
And so all that together just kind of created more stress and pressure. And then you couple it with the change that it creates physically in the heart palpitations and stuff.
Yeah.
And then I think, I'm gonna die.
Right.
I'm gonna die.
Yeah. You just couldn't get out of that cycle.
It was a loop.
It was just,
It was an endless loop.
Yeah.
So you get the fear of that you're gonna die, right? Or that you could die in my circumstance. But then on top of it, then the next layer of fear is, how will my family survive without me?
Yeah.
And that's really the topic of our conversation that we were discussing was, how would our family live, survive without us?
Yeah. Well, without you, it would be, I think, and don't take it the wrong way, but it would be much harder than
thanks.
if I was, because I'm just saying you we've been blessed. I don't have to work. I
Yeah, I know what you mean.
there's just a lot that you do that I don't, and run the businesses and everything. And if something happened to you, I would be lost. I mean, completely lost.
So there are different aspects, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, you're talking more of the financial side
Just,
of taking
I mean,
care
a lot of
or
things.
survival.
Yeah.
You know, so like from my side, yeah, it was that too.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was also just, I don't know, you know, you feel like I won't get to walk my daughters. I mean,
Right.
these thoughts
See
came to you, and they were babies.
Yeah.
They weren't
They were
babies,
little.
but they were little
Yeah.
girls, and I'm like, who's going to walk my girls down the aisle? I mean, I had all these crazy
Oh my
thoughts,
gosh.
and it just,
Yeah.
it was. Why do you think I was on the couch for like
Yeah, I know.
months?
I know.
Because I laid out there, and the worst
I
of it
didn't
would
realize.
come.
I don't think that it was that as bad as it was
Oh, it was intense.
for you, like that.
It was
you know,
intense. It was intense.
at that time.
Yeah, these just chewed at me.
Yeah.
And it just created more of the problem I was already in.
Yeah.
Because more than myself, obviously it's a scary thought to think that you're going to die.
Yeah.
It's not as much anymore.
Right.
You know,
Isn't that weird how
my
it?
new note, you know, at the top of my priorities list, because now it's kind of a motivating factor for pushing you and getting you
What's
moving.
it say?
But
you're gonna die. Oh my gosh.
You're going to die. Then I run out. It's not really. You
No,
think,
I get
you
what
think
you're
it's
saying.
morbid?
It's just like, what? Why do you? I wouldn't want to look at that every day. I know I'm going to die.
What did
someday.
Diego say? Shawn, you're a special breed.
Yeah, you are. He is.
That's his way of nicely saying you're a little strange.
No, but I mean, if
But I
it
already know this
motivates
about
you
myself.
anyway, yeah.
Yeah, it's motivating, but I'm in a different place
Yeah.
of maturity now, you know, at my age. So now it's like, yeah, you know, get it, go get it, get after it, you know, get to it, seize the day.
Yeah.
That's what it means for me. Look, you're gonna. What if it's tomorrow?
Yeah, you
what
don't
if,
know.
What if it's a year from now, and that's all you have left? You better get after it to do all the things, and not just money related, you know,
Yeah.
but do all the things that you want to do. So be purposeful and intentful about
Intentful.
your family and your time and all this stuff. Anyway,
Yeah.
I digress. We're way off track.
Yeah.
We're not way off
It
track,
happens.
but
It's
we're off
okay.
track a little bit. But the point is,
Yeah.
so, yeah, that stress of dying was
Mm-hmm.
one thing, but the second layer of it, which was the strongest layer, was, you know, you guys.
What? Yeah.
Because at that point, we, you know, our finances weren't as blessed as they are
No,
now.
not at
Because
all.
we were young.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, it takes time to accumulate wealth and
Yeah.
stability.
You were on the way.
We were
was-
making good
yeah.
strides, but we weren't there. So
Right.
if something had happened to me, yeah, obviously it would be a problem.
I mean, even now, if something happened to you, then it's whenever, because you're our fixer. You're our, you know, you're just the person who,
fixer.
yeah, you do, besides running, you know, multiple businesses and coaching, all the things you do, but you're our person to go to for when there's a problem for things or whatever. I mean, you always help find answers and you help fix things, you know, it would be a huge thing no matter when that is, you know. So,
You know what I always teach everybody
What?
in the business? I always remind everybody, like we'll have Friday meetings and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Who's the most important person, or who's the most expensive person? Sometimes
Oh, gosh.
they go together.
they
Because
know.
I'm always grooming them to be the best they can be.
Yeah,
The problem solver.
yeah.
The person who solves the problem, the
Exactly.
person who gets the answer, the person who gets it resolved. They're the most important person, because you don't have to have all the answers.
just
You
find
have to
them.
be the person to be able to go find them
Yeah.
and just get it checked off.
Yeah.
Super
And
important.
that's what you say that all
So
the time.
I know that's my personality a little bit.
But I'm just saying that would be a huge, no matter if it was when you
Yeah.
were 30 or whenever.
So, you know, I'm just going to come clean about something. There was a time.
No, go ahead.
You breaking
I'm
a
ready.
sweat?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
There was a time in my life when I slept with one eye open.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just saying.
Wait, why? Me?
Because,
What?
I mean, we got that. So I remember when we got to a point
What?
where I had to get a life insurance policy. And
Oh.
my first life insurance policy.
Are you serious?
Yeah, man.
What
And
do you, okay, you think money's more than
I don't know.
more than
You know,
you
sometimes when we
crazy?
get in a fight
my
and
gosh.
you're mad at me, and then we went through a season of watching like Dateline every night.
I love Dateline.
Oh, I hate that show. It's
I
the
love
same
Dateline.
thing every night. Who murdered who? Who killed who? Figuring it out. And that stuff starts to get in your head. And I start putting it all together. I'm hearing all this
gosh,
information.
what?
And then I get my new insurance policy. And I'm like, what if she knocks me off?
Yeah, whatever.
Anyway,
That's funny. Can't believe you would even think that.
I did.
Well, mine, I have, like, on the same topic of thinking if, like, how would you guys survive without me? I know you would, because, like, basically you did, not without me, like, after my
yeah. I know where
surgeries,
you're
after different things where I was, you know, out of service, whatever, I just couldn't do anything.
Well, let's pause.
You took care.
Come back to that thought.
What?
Just to give context. So when you went through a stage of cancer,
Yes.
you had breast cancer and it was a big deal and there was surgeries and a lot of stuff around it to
Yeah.
where it completely incapacitated you
Yes.
for a season.
Yeah. It
And-
changed our lives for a while.
Yeah, so what you're talking about now, and I want you to go back to that, that's
Yeah.
good. What you're talking about now is that time,
During that
because we
time.
had a little bit of taste of where's mom? And
Right.
we had some of the fear of what if something happens to mom?
Yeah.
You know, because that was a real life moment where we felt like, you know, you feel invincible, especially, I mean,
yeah, I
you were
did.
late 30s. That was so young and unusual.
Yeah.
So you don't even think about that stuff.
Right.
Till you're 50.
Yeah, knowing in my family, it was just a random, crazy
Yeah.
weird thing.
So that what you're saying is that experience when we
Yes.
went through that,
Yeah.
you were separated, and it did kind of become.
It did.
I became the mom. I became the dad,
Yep,
and
taking kids to
and
school,
you were
all the
like
things I
so
did.
you were like an additional, not a kid, but
Had to be taken care of
person
for a
that
little
was
bit,
on
yeah.
on the crew for taking care of. So yeah, continue with that
So
thought.
yeah,
now
that was my point was, I was incapacitated out of it for a while, couldn't do my normal stuff, so you had to step up and do all my things that I always did, and you did it. I know it was way stressful, and you had help from your mom, thank goodness, and people brought us food. It was great, you know, that kind of help, but you would have been fine. Like, you would have been fine, especially now that the kids are older, it would be fine. But I'm just saying, there was a picture of that time that you did the grocery shopping, you took the kids to school, you did their hair, like you did all the help cook dinners, you know, everything.
You know, they preferred me to do their hair.
Yes, because they thought I hurt their hair.
Because you ripped their hair out.
No, I
and you have
didn't.
no mercy when it comes to knots.
Yes, I did.
And I'm like, oh, hon,
spray.
you know, I'm like, let's find a new technique. And you're like,
It was just the
come on,
one
it's
that
time for
complained
school.
the most.
Let's get your hair done.
One of them was
And I
really
was-
tender-headed.
Yeah, well,
Anyway, but my point is
Sorry,
that
it
yes,
just
you
came to me.
guys would have been there. You had that time basically where you knew I was home, but I wasn't.
it was almost like a,
I was there, but I
test
wasn't
run.
there. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it was like you would have been fine. You would have made it work. And even another circumstance where when I was pregnant with our last one, and I had to be on bed rest for the last however many months.
yeah.
And you had to do everything then as well, cook dinners, and I still could do some stuff, but it wasn't the same as when I was having all the surgeries and all that.
Yeah.
It was a time, but you guys, you got through it and did everything, you know, without me, so.
Yeah, and you know, we know families. We've had neighbors who lost spouses
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and stuff,
Yep.
and we were, you know, friends and deeply embedded in helping them
Oh, yeah.
navigate that. So we've also seen it. And I was just sharing a story about that. You know, the neighbors directly across
Yep.
the street years ago to someone, and it was such a hard story. So you know, my heart goes out to anybody,
Oh, gosh.
anybody who has ever lost somebody. It just there's nothing easy about that at all.
Not at all.
Now, fast forward, she had a lot of family support and friends,
Yeah.
neighbors. You know,
Yeah.
our cul-de-sac.
Yeah,
we all
everybody.
jumped in to be a helping hand
Yeah.
and show some grace and support for her. And in fact, she moved into one of our properties.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we gave her a place to stay. You know, I think she stayed for like 3 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. She was there a while, but anyway,
Yeah.
and help her and the boys kind of, you know,
Get
get their
through.
bearings and reacclimate because you
That first
what do you do?
Yeah.
You know, you can't. There's no do-over
Yeah.
when you lose a spouse like that. It's just horrible. But she's doing well now. But the point is, it's still a real fear.
Yeah.
But will you survive?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. It's more of a fear, I think, internally.
Yeah.
Will your kids survive?
Yeah.
I think so.
Just
yeah.
getting through that hard time and.
Yeah, it's going to be a stress and stuff. And,
Right.
you know, truth be told, if something happened to me, I shouldn't tell you this or I'm going to have to sleep with one eye open again. Maybe I'll hold that comment.
What? No, you gotta tell it now.
Say, truth be
It's out
told.
there.
Well, you know, you get insurance for a reason.
Oh.
It's because insurance is not meant to be lifelong to give you just
Right.
a big payout. It's
Yeah.
meant to, because it's expensive, it's meant to, you know,
Help.
be carrying along a certain amount of years so that you can be building wealth, making good choices so you don't have to depend on insurance for your family to survive. So hopefully if you're doing things right, the right way would be to be planning and you know, you need to know you
Yeah.
are going to die someday.
Right.
You're going to die. It doesn't mean you have to focus on it, and if you're not a little bit eccentric like me, that's okay. It's part of my daily to-do list.
Yeah.
You're gonna die, Shawn. I know it's weird. Whatever. You're gonna try it now, aren't you?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, you won't do it. Okay. Anyway, the point is, it's meant for you to have protection during the time to get your family ready.
Yeah.
Now, like ours, the one I took out, I think it was like a 30-year policy. It was long. By the way,
It's getting,
do it while you're young
oh yeah,
because it's much more affordable.
It's cheaper.
Once as you age, goes
Yeah.
up ridiculously. But I took out a substantial policy that would cover the majority of where we were and give you some extra protection. I looked at it like, what would it take to pay off all of our debts, pay the house off and everything else, so you wouldn't have to be stressed to like, how am I gonna survive?
yeah,
So I measured the size of the policy by those things.
Yeah.
And I figured, hey, look, if the policy was big enough that it would pay off any debts we had, and that it would also give you a year worth of living the same that we always
Yeah.
do, that would give you plenty of time to make a plan and figure out, you know,
What
how
I'm gonna
things
do.
are going to happen and what you're going to do, and you know, because if it was in our 30s,
yeah,
obviously that's pretty young. We were just starting to get some traction
Yeah.
and momentum on things, and it takes time to grow wealth.
yeah,
That's the point of it. So, you know, now where we're at, you would be totally fine.
Yeah.
It's financially, you would miss me.
well, yeah, maybe. I'm just kidding. Of course I'd miss you. You crazy?
Wow. You know, I don't know. Would
Yeah,
you
of
miss me, or
course.
would you like
Of
have a
course I
party?
would.
Be like, freedom!
Freedom? What does that mean?
I'm just teasing.
Yeah, that's silly. So what would you say to people that are really struggling with the fear, like how to get through that, worrying about your family surviving and whatnot without you? I mean, I know like you talked about financial wise, but in ways of, you know, just trying to get mentally over those things, know that they will survive, like you said, but
Yeah.
you'll get through it.
I think you have to come to a place, you know, we lean on our faith. I think if you're a person of faith, that's been a tremendous blessing for us
Yeah.
in some of those times, to where you can lean on your faith in God or whatever. That's just, you can't put a value on that. It's tremendous. That's what helped me work through that, is to be able to say, you know, God, I know this is super scary. I don't know how this is going to go, and I want to be here. You
Yeah.
know, I'm scared. I don't want to die.
Right.
I want to walk my girls down the aisle, but I need to trust you, and I'm trusting that you're going to help me identify or walk this path, and you know, I'll leave it to your will.
Yeah. Put it in his hands.
Yeah, I put it in your hands and hope for the best.
Yeah.
And lean on the fact that he has your best interest. He loves you and wants you to prosper, and wants the things that you want according to his will as
Yeah.
well. for your life. So I think that's super important to be able to lean on that faith. But, I think you just have to come to a point where you say, I can't focus on that. There's only one thing that maybe would be valuable that I can see. There might be others, but just off the cuff, I would say is it helps you look at maybe how you spend your money, how you plan your future, and the things you're doing to where maybe if you're having that thought or that fear of especially if God forbid you have a health challenge that you're dealing with right now, I know that's tough stuff.
Yeah.
It's tough stuff, but it still needs to plan. So maybe try to look through the perspective of when we were going through that, it definitely gives that picture, and you have those thoughts too. But hey, am I making good decisions that will help settle some of these feelings if I weren't here because I planned and didn't live life like I'm going to live forever?
Yeah,
because we're not.
Yeah,
we're not. I mean, I'm planning on 106. You know that.
Yep.
I want to be on a Smucker's jar. For those who may know what a Smucker's jar is, I don't know. On the news.
It's getting we're getting older, so people don't. The
I know.
younger generation
A different
doesn't
generation,
like,
what's a Smucker's jar? Smucker's jelly.
Yeah, it used to be when you turn 100, you get your. On the Today Show, they did a thing. Where
Last one was like, didn't you say like 110, 111, something like that?
Something I heard.
That's
crazy. Someone lived to be. Can you imagine living? I know.
That long? I say 106, but obviously it really depends on my health, and I don't want to just be laying around.
Right.
Otherwise, I just want to, when it's time, I want to out,
quickly.
Lights out.
Yeah, that's what everybody hopes for. Me too.
Yeah. Because some of the other stuff that we're seeing now, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, let's bring it home.
Okay.
What do you do with this? How do you deal with this?
I just for me, I don't dwell on it. I just.
Out of sight, out of mind?
Yeah, kind of. I mean,
Forget
I'm just
about it, act like it doesn't happen, act like it's not real, ignore it?
I know it's going to happen, but I'm saying, no, not, I mean, I don't just sit and think about it all the time.
I agree that
you should plan it.
Does.
Plan. I think that's a great suggestion is to try and plan for those things. But, I just have fun, live your life, and hopefully everybody does live a nice, long life. And have good health and all of that, but lean on different things. I mean, we are people of faith, but if you're not, lean on your family, your friends, whatever. Different situations, call for different things. So if you're struggling with certain things like that, you know who you have that you can lean on.
It's always fear of the unknown.
Always, yeah.
It's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you want to package
there you go,
it's
right there.
It's fear of the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
So
scary.
Fear is just such a big thing in all of our lives, and so it really comes down to a mind shift to understand how to process that and not, like you said, not focus on it.
Yep.
It doesn't mean you shouldn't ever think about it as far as, hey, you have a certain lifespan, like Tim was talking about at church. Hey, here's your lifeline.
Right.
If this is how much you have, not literally.
Yeah.
Figuratively speaking, if you see this line, are you preparing in that time for certain things?
Right.
And this would be one of them where you can prepare and, just know that sometimes you might want to sleep with one eye open.
Gosh. Maybe I should. I mean, my life insurance policy is like...
Oh, I know. It's because I'm the guy that works. So when it comes to the...
Hey, you can get a new crazy car with mine. That's your Lamborghini.
The funny thing is, it wouldn't buy a Lamborghini.
Oh. See?
Maybe it would.
Yeah.
Well, because when you're young...
Well, we didn't really,
I mean, they were bought so many years ago.
Yeah.
Now, they were huge then.
Right.
In the amounts like, oh, this will help.
And I think
but it costs money every month. So it's an expense to your budget. So when you start spending money, you don't want to buy like a $4 million, if you make, 70 grand a year, you don't want to buy a $4 million, policy that you're paying, $2,000 a month for.
Right. And ours, I think back then, the only reason, because we didn't really need any on me, but I think you got it because in case, what if just something happened and the kids had to go to daycare or something like that. It was more of a...
just in case, you know, some of the ladies who may be listening get insulted about if they happen to be a homemaker. Yes, husbands do need, and it is a detriment to the family. I mean, there's a role that you play. Just because you don't go earn the money, there's still, can you imagine what I would have to pick up inside the house in the day-to-day stuff without you?
Yes, I know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, who's going to do that?
You'd have to hire someone.
How much space is in my life right now?
Not much.
Okay. So now I take yours too.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to do both.
Well, now at least there's only one kid.
Answer the question.
Yeah, you would be having to do both. Yeah.
So, no, I wouldn't. I'd have to hire somebody, or I'd have to pay somehow to get the help needed to fill that gap of help, assistance, support. So, yes, there's a great value in what you do.
I didn't mean that. I was talking about like financial wise, of saying like we didn't have to have that. You know, it was just, I didn't mean it in a way because of what I do. I just
I'm just saying, you know, sometimes I think, I don't want any stay-home parent to feel like they're less valuable.
Oh gosh, no.
If something were to happen to them and they were removed from the family, because they have a huge value. It's different when you're talking monetarily, because, you know, there's a support system that comes differently from the main income earner. So those are different, but man, everybody has super value. Let's just hope that it never happens. Yeah, and I wish it would never happen to anybody. And it just be this wonderful, dreamy world. It's gonna happen. So, anyway, focus on your fears and plan. Because it is a good opportunity to plan. And maybe if you don't have life insurance and a trust,
that's good too.
If you're starting to accumulate some assets and some things, that's pretty important. It's preparation. So when you do some of those things, I think it resolves some of the fears because you feel like you have some things in order.
Yeah, for sure.
Even when you may not be sick or there may be nothing in your life right now that feels like you're coming close to that. But it gives you the sense of preparation and that you've put a plan in motion for your family.
It's good.
I think it's helpful. It helped me. So
for sure.
I'm still here.
You'll be here for a long time.
I plan to be here for a long time unless I keep taking those 10-mile runs, 9-mile runs. It's killing me.
Crazy.
All right. Hey, if you guys enjoyed this, we'd love for you to like, subscribe, whichever.
Leave comments.
Leave comments. We love hearing from our viewers and any response or thoughts of yours. Join in the conversation. We love to see what our viewers are saying. And we by no means are the experts. We're just sharing some of our life. Here we are. We'll see you next time.